Coach Bill Shea, commit to compete. In this video, we're going to talk about ownership and how ownership can be a powerful, motivating factor for your child in their athletic experience. Okay? When I was, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, my father said to me, "Don't play because of me." All right? He was a well-known baseball coach. Him and a few buddies started Little League in Fall River, Massachusetts, 1951. He was well known. When I was a kid, everywhere I go, Shifty, 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 everybody knew who he was. And it seemed like everybody had played Little League for him. Okay? So he knew that I knew about baseball, right? And he wanted me to be sure, to be clear that I wanted to play because I wanted to play. So he said to me directly, and he said the same thing to my brother, "Don't play because of me, play because you want to play. Play because it makes you happy." And that's what we did. We're like, okay, it did make us happy, so we played. But he did that to give us ownership, right, of what we were doing, to establish the fact that this was a voluntary recreational activity and I had no obligation to do it. Okay? I had no obligation to go to the park with him. So when we went to the park and he'd hit grounders, right, he'd always ask me, "Hey, tell me, make sure you let me know when you want to leave. Make sure you let me know when you want to leave." And he'd hit me pop-ups, like, I love it when he hit the fungos, like, I'd work on getting pop-up. I love doing it. But he'd ask me, "Sure you want to stay? You want to go? You want to go?" And we'd leave when I wanted to leave. That's how you establish ownership. Everything was voluntary. I never felt obligated to do anything, other than when I am on a team, go to practice, got to go to every game, every practice, got to listen to your coach, you do everything you can to help your team win, and you can't quit. You got to finish the season. Those were rules of ownership, right? But I decided if I wanted to go to the park and take rounders or pop-ups. I decided that stuff. If I wanted to get extra hitting, I decided that. I never had to do anything that I did not want to do. And that's how you establish ownership. But I did more than most kids, okay? I mean, when it came to baseball, I did more than the average kid, but there were kids who worked harder than I did. I used to see them. I'm like, wow, that kid works harder than me. That kid works harder than me. I'd see it. But I'm like, all right. But I'm doing what I want to do, okay? I didn't want to go and, hit for an hour and a half. I didn't want to do that. So I didn't, okay? So no one forced me to do anything. If my father would have forced me to go do that, I probably would have ended up quitting baseball much sooner, right? So it's like, so ownership gives kids freedom, right? So I think what happens is a lot of parents are afraid that when they do give the kid ownership, they're not going to do anything, right? When I give him ownership, he won't. Well, maybe he won't. But that's telling you his actions. If you want to find out what somebody'd rather do, then let them do what they want to do, right? So it's like, if you have to force a kid to practice, then he really doesn't want to do it. What's the point, really? What's the point? As a parent, I'm going to force my kid to make 100 shots or go to the batting cage. I remember at Maplewood Park, we used to hang around during the day, right? We'd be playing baseball, basketball, but we'd take breaks, And there was a kid whose father would come 3 or 4 days a week. His father would come at his lunch break and throw the kid batting practice, and the kid hated it. And we used to say, "Dude, why do you do it?" His father come walking out a bucket of balls, and he'd be like, "Oh man, gotta go hit." And we're like, "Dude, why don't you just tell him no?" He goes, "Oh, it's easier just to do it." He goes, "Because then the next time I have an 0 for 3, he's gonna say it's because of this and that and this and that." I'm like, damn. I remember going, I'm glad my old man's not like that. And that kid was a decent hitter. He's a good hitter, but I mean, is it really worth it? I mean, he didn't go to the pros. He played a little college, but the kid was miserable. That's the point. And the father was clueless, right? The father was clueless, like, or he didn't give it. He didn't care, right? He didn't care. He was just, every day you're going to do this. You're going to do this. So that's where not having ownership can kill it, right? It can kill the kid's joy. Right? That kid did not enjoy the game of baseball the way he should have enjoyed it because his old man was all over his ass. And it's like, why? I don't understand that at all. Let the kid play. If kids play sports, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. There's going to be wins, there's going to be losses. There's going to be good games, there's going to be bad games. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. Examine the game afterwards. What can I do better? Right? What did I do well? What can I do better? Move on to the next game. That's it. But ownership is the key. Because when I'm telling you, when kids get older, they get to high school, they're gonna make their own decisions. Okay, and if they don't own it, okay, if they don't own their athletic experience, that's why we lose a lot of kids when they get to high school, because they've been doing it for somebody else for so long, and they're like, you know what, I don't feel like doing it for somebody else. But when they're doing it for themselves all the way along, then, right, they say to themselves, well, I got all this time invested, I'm going to finish it off. Ownership is key. Commit to compete. I'll see you in the next video.